Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the power, control and rebirth of those of you who have Pluto within your 6th house, but also for those of you who have Scorpio ruling your 6th house within your natal birth chart. But before we do get into this, make sure that you give this video a like if you like it. Also make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and to click that little bell icon in order to keep yourself updated with further content from myself. And one more just quick thing to mention, if you would like to know more information all about your Pluto sign, your Pluto house, along with your Scorpio house and your 8th house within your natal birth chart, then I have created a Scorpio season/archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today if you would like. Okay, so with all those introductions out of the way, Pluto in the 6th house and Scorpio ruling the 6th house individuals, let's do this. Okay, so if you have Pluto in your 6th house or Scorpio ruling your 6th house, then what this suggests is that you're someone who doesn't take your daily routines or your day-to-day job lightly. In fact, it could very well be suggested that these things, they consume you, and that you possess a profound inner depth and intensity towards these things as well. For example, you might seek to use every minute of the day in a productive way, where you make each second really count in order to make sure that you get the most out of your day. So I'm talking to-do lists that you stick to with a vengeance and a stubbornness, or reminder notes that you stick to your fridge or your bedroom walls, or possibly even you setting alarm clocks throughout the day to ensure that you complete particular tasks and chores within a specific period of time. Though another example of this intensity could be you challenging coworkers and employers on the job if you need to, where you make sure that you know that you cannot be walked over and you know that you cannot be controlled. Following on from this point, perhaps you experience power struggles when on the job. Maybe you can come across as standoffish or as quite defensive and as protective towards those that you do work with, or possibly even you can come across as quite intimidating or threatening. Or perhaps you have this outlook, this mentality towards your workplace that says, look, I'm here to do my job and that's it. Don't disturb me. Or I'm here to get the job done, not necessarily to make friends. And oh my goodness, if you are ever criticized or you feel like you're being scrutinized when it comes to your work or when it comes to your performance on the job, or again, if you ever feel cornered, you'll most likely bite back and refuse to back down from unfair behavior or treatment. Deep down, you feel that you're destined for something that's much more purposeful and is much more emotionally charged and fulfilling for you when it comes to matters of work. The type of work that you know you can give your all to. Somewhere where you know that your refined skills and your intellect can really be put to the test fully and completely. And therefore, you insert a lot of your power and your really strong will into the types of jobs that really mean something to you and align with your mission, whilst also deriving and obtaining so much power from the roles that you take on. And you're going to do these things with strong determination and a lot of focus and with a lot of passion. However, this process isn't straightforward or smooth sailing. For reasons such as you coming up against opposing forces who challenge your power and challenge your abilities, as kind of previously mentioned there. But also other reasons may include you being rejected by certain employers or companies who don't see in you what you see and feel within yourself, or that you find yourself sometimes spiraling through moments of negative self-talk where you then start to tell yourself that you should give up or you should just walk away. Though following on from this point, it could be suggested that your psyche really does impact your body, and this in turn really, it all very much impacts your day-to-day and it impacts your whole attitudes towards work and service. So this could be you worrying excessively, or this could be you becoming overwhelmed and ridden with fears and anxieties of not completing what you set out to do. And seeing as we're kind of on the subject here of health and well-being, you may, for example, you may forget to eat sometimes because of how busy you are with your day-to-day, or this could even be where you're just so busy that you forget to reply to people, or you forget certain commitments that you've made with others. Or it could even be that you drink high volumes of coffee or caffeine, and even you consume a lot of sugar in order to function and operate throughout your day. Furthermore, it could even possibly be that you gain some weight or you get acne due to high volumes of stress and extreme worrying, or possibly even you may experience a health scare resulting in you having no other choice than to really slow down and just take it easy, or resulting in you having no other choice but to do away with a particular rule and go on to start a new one. Perhaps you also obsessively think about your health as well, leading to potentialities of calorie counting, meal restrictions, or weekly checkups with your doctor just in case. Or perhaps you even go to extreme measures where you completely just cut out certain foods from your life because you deem them as evil and you deem them as bad. So kind of going back to the work side of things here, maybe you can go through these very strong and apparent cycles in association with work. So this could be a situation where you work for a certain company or employer, but then there is a dismantling or there's a destruction resulting in you finding another job, or perhaps there's been some type of abuse or violence, possibly even bullying or betrayal that you've experienced within a particular job, or maybe that employer was really corrupt, or there were shady employees within that company suggesting criminal activity going on. But whatever the case may be here, you go through these transforming cycles with work. And with each and every cycle, you are reborn because you gain much more perspective and resilience. And throughout this process, perhaps you even come to many revelations, such as you saying to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to work for myself. Or next time I am putting my foot down and I am not tolerating anything less than I deserve. On the other hand, maybe you realize that a particular field or area just simply is not for you anymore and you're willing to try something else, something new that wasn't within your radar before. Or this may be even you knowing exactly what it is that you want to do with your day-to-day, and so what you do is you focus solely on that and nothing else. And so within this process, you're willing to take on mediocre jobs, or you're even willing to take on side jobs, side hustles as they're known as today, in order for you to move towards the place that you want to be at. So it's this whole mentality of, I know what I want and I'm not going to stop until I get it. Like I said, negative self-talk and criticisms may come into play here, but perhaps for you, you're also transforming through these moments as well. And if it is that you've experienced certain health implications as stated before, maybe you also transform and are reborn through these moments just as much. So for example, maybe you discover that negative self-talk can be used as a tool that can be transmuted into identifying areas for improvement and or growth. Or perhaps you discover that how you organize and manage your time can be changed and used to your advantage. Or quite possibly you discover that your whole completing work, even if it kills me approach, is what causes you to push yourself too much and potentially burn out, where you're just drained and you're exhausted, and also further leading on to potential health interferences. But essentially what I think that you're really coming to understand here, Pluto in the 6th house, Scorpio ruling the 6th house individuals, is the important connection between the mind and your emotions and your physical body, whereby which you're able to identify the extreme lengths that you can go to. And so it's about you coming to terms with these things in association with your mindset towards work, towards service, and towards your day-to-day routines and habits. I mean, is it that you work yourself to death, where you turn into this fanatical workaholic? Or is it that you have an unhealthy or obsessive relationship with exercise and food and fitness? Or do you find yourself constantly keeping yourself busy because each minute to you must be used? Though having said that, remember, Pluto is all about extremes. So is it possible that you go through periods where you quite literally just don't want to do anything at all? Times whenever you lock yourself away from the world and don't want to deal with the day-to-day. Then again, maybe this is what you feel that you need sometimes due to how much you push yourself. Basically, there isn't so much of a balance here. And even as you go through these cycles, maybe you research the hell out of why you're like this. And this outlook could then also lead you into a deep investigation, further resulting in you becoming this hypochondriac. On the other hand, perhaps you also possess a deep interest in psychology and even the metaphysical world. You're someone who really wants to know why you act the way you do. And so maybe you are fascinated by the unknown, you're fascinated by human analysis, especially your own. However, let's actually take this a step back so we can investigate some potentialities as to why you might go to the extremes and have this all or nothing approach towards your daily work and service and routines. So could it be suggested that you grew up in an environment where the day-to-day was controlled and dominated? Perhaps there were strict times and schedules and routines, and there were correct ways to do things. Or perhaps you experienced a lot of tension and inner stress due to the forcefulness of getting shit done. Or quite possibly there was someone within your environment who overanalyzed the hell out of how you would clean, how you would organize, and how you would work. Could very well be you feeling intense eyes on you within your working environment that remind you of how you were analyzed and treated and how you were really monitored growing up. Or it could even very well be that you were traumatized due to fear being instilled onto you to get things perfect and to get things really correct. So whichever way this played out, Pluto in the 6th house, Scorpio ruling the 6th house individuals, maybe you unconsciously find yourself trying to live up to the expectations of this person or these people from your younger years, or maybe the voice of this individual or these people, they play in your head, and so it's almost like the voice is buried within your psyche and it's constantly just criticizing you and it's always pushing on you to perform better. Of course, this is just a suggestion, so please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but it might be something to kind of reflect upon, though of course it doesn't have to be a very negative thing. I mean, From this voice, it also shows that it's pushed you, it's really helped drive you and motivate you, and it's led to you being this very determined and focused worker. So essentially what we're noticing is that you are very focused and you do know how to hone in on your working life and day-to-day duties and responsibilities, but it's within these areas of your life that you seek to really dominate. It's within these areas that you seek to have control over, and so this is where you want to feel the most powerful. But there is just one more quick thing that I want to mention before we wrap this up, and that is that you can be a very impactful and profound problem solver. You may be very, very good at coming up with practical solutions for things, along with you providing very insightful advice in order to help others. So with that being said, whenever you do go through these transformations in association with work, for example, you're probably very good at creating a strategy or a plan. So this could be you quite literally losing your job, but then you have this ability to figure out what to do next, where you're able to figure out solutions so that you can find another job, and you'll most likely not stop until you do. Or another example could be in association with your fitness and your diet transformations, where maybe you realize, okay, I think I've went far too extreme here. So again, you can come up with really good practical solutions by making a change that is much more healthy and hopefully sustainable for you. But ultimately, Pluto in the 6th house, Scorpio ruling the 6th house individuals, you may have a pretty damn investigative and detective-like mind when it comes to solving problems and coming up with grounded solutions on a day-to-day basis. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the power, control and the rebirth of those of you who have Pluto in your 6th house, and also of those of you who have Scorpio ruling your 6th house within your natal birth chart. Now if you happen to have any of these placements, then let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and make sure you give this video a like, remember, and I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!